Well, hi, Kerryanne. Thanks for helping with my project.
Hi, Nathan. Always, you're most welcome anytime.
Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kerryanne. I'm actually a doctor, an ER physician. I used to work in the UK and in India, but I don't work in the US. At the moment, a housewife.
What made you want to become a doctor?
Um, Actually, I always went with my mom. My mom was a nurse, so she used to help a lot of people actually back in Bahrain who needed, like, who didn't have a good insurance policy, health insurance. So then what used to happen was that she would end up helping them by speaking to, some of her colleagues if they could um, get them to see, these friends of hers, to ensure that they were taken care of, or at least health wise were at least attended to, um, you know, in a more reasonable way, in the sense that they didn't have to rush back to India to deal with, things that needed a lot more, or at least needed more attention. So I used to go with her on a regular basis whenever she used to take people in, or she would get one of her colleagues to take a look, or ask one of the doctors to come and help out, or at least ensure that she's fine until she goes down to India, or at least goes down to get some help in India. So that itself drew me to the fact that, oh yeah, my mom really, she goes out of her way to help people. And I also got to see what she really did, because she was in the maternity hospital. So she used to deliver babies. So I got into that whole scene of, okay, yeah, this is interesting, how it happens, and what really goes on, and how long it takes. So I think that sparked my entire route of going into becoming a doctor, actually. So then I helped out in India with some of our friends who were doctors as well. So, and then that gave me a better understanding of what are the different courses that you can take, and how you can really be of help in different you know different specialities.
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds like the ultimate take your child to work experience.
Oh yeah, that was really good, actually, because that opened a lot of. I think it was the in India, in sorry, in Bahrain, we didn't have family, so sometimes it was very difficult to find childcare for us. So so parents sometimes had to like drag us in, maybe if we had a holiday, or we were day off at, or we had to take the day off when we were ill. So sometimes it was hard to arrange that, that fast childcare thing. And then they would drag us into work, and then sometimes we used to sit down there and wait, and then she would like probably come back in 2 hours or 1 hour or whatever, and then she would show, we would be sitting and watching, and we would sit at that desk, the nurse's desk, and we would look at all these things being moved around. So sometimes that itself was very interesting. There was a whole 2 hour program going on the desk there, at the nurse's desk, how things were moved, how the samples were taken. That itself was pretty interesting. Yeah. Besides seeing how, blood was actually taken, but at least looking at those samples itself was like, okay, yeah, you got to name them, you got to do things. Yeah, it was interesting, I
I
guess.
remember my mother was a home health nurse, and in the 1980s, they didn't have rules like they do now, and she actually took me on a lot of her visits to the patients, and I think it was good for them, getting to see a young person because most of these are elderly people, and it was good for me getting to see people being taken care of. So I think it's actually a good thing.
Yeah, it was very interesting, because you would see people who were really ill. And then of course my mom used to work in maternity, and then you had like friends in other departments as well. So So she would move us, or she would sometimes, take us to the other unit. Like sometimes it was geriatrics, or sometimes it was basically just general medicine. So you had staff nurses in different departments, right? So sometimes you would just walk past, even if you had to go to the blood bank, if you would walk past those units, you would say hello to all your colleagues, and then that that was another 10 minutes there where you would see someone helping out doing other things, other procedures. So that itself was very interesting actually for me, because I always felt like, okay, yeah, you really made a difference. Whatever you did, you really made a difference. You could see, oh yeah, I'm taking this out, the person's feeling better, or whatever be it. So I think that was what sparked my interest in this whole journey of going to become a doctor, because I felt like, okay, I needed to do something, productive there. Yeah.
That's really amazing. Well, I wanted to talk to you about another journey. I was wondering if you knew that NASA was planning to take a journey to send astronauts back to the moon.
Uh, Nathan, you mentioned it when we came down to Houston. Yes, I think from then I have been thinking about it. Um, it's something I think is it's unimaginable for me, but at the same time, I feel if it happens during my lifetime, it would be a great thing. But at the same time, I'm not sure whether I would be a very good candidate to be in one of those spaceships to go to the moon. I'm a person who likes a lot of space, and I don't think I would be able to sit in some kind of a spaceship for like hours together just to reach to the place that you need to be. But yeah, it's interesting. I would definitely love, or at least would like to read or hear about uh, the the entire experience of what the present advancement in all these instruments, and also the space vehicle that will be used, how it would help enhance the people, the next journey to moon, because the first journey was kind of primitive. Now if you say almost like 50 years, more than
Yeah,
50.
52 years.
Yeah,
1972 was the last time.
yeah, so it's like a long gap, and I think with that we've moved from normal cars to battery cars, and then we also have SpaceX going into space, so for like a couple of hours and then coming back. So I think this would be something really really nice to probably experience in our lifetime. Yeah.
When you think about the future, like hundreds of years in the future, do you think humanity is still limited to only the Earth? Or do you think we've branched out and we're traveling among the planets and maybe even among the stars at some point in the future?
um that's I think what happens is when we sit in a plane, we are also in somewhere in that direction, but we don't know whether we see the stars on the right or the left or whatever. We can't see what we are, outside the plane. So I definitely, I mean, it could be really nice to probably get pictures like how we went for that 3D virtual, that the virtual experience that we had at Houston. It would be really nice to get to really physically see those things, whatever you've captured via a camera. It would be really nice to see it physically, to be there. But yeah, and I think it people moving or living out of Earth could be a possibility, provided the temperatures cool down a bit and people don't have to like move around in those space suits all over the place. I think it could happen. Maybe we could evolve as a human being. Maybe our skin probably could take a little stronger temperatures. Who knows?
Uh,
Anything can happen.
So, talking about anything could happen, what would it take to make you take a trip to space?
What would it take? I think for me, I'm not sure. Maybe it would. I think I physically cannot sit in something that is closed for a very long period of time. I could sit probably, I can easily take a 30 or a 35-hour flight, but something like 3, 4, 5, 6 days, um, I think I can't imagine myself being in something, or, being in that just to travel to a particular place. So that I think is one thing that would hold me back, I guess.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
No, I have not been on a cruise.
Okay. I was gonna say, what if it was like a cruise boat? Would that change anything? But
Cruise boat, mm, you know, on a cruise, you can still get out of your, you can still get out of your space, right? And you can
yep.
come out to the deck and look out. I guess you still have that option of going and looking out. I think if that's possible, yes, I probably would think of going. If it was a cruise boat that was taking me to the moon, but if it's something like a plane that's enclosing me completely, I guess I don't think I have the nerves to sit for that long. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, is there anything that you think would be good for people looking back on this video, say 200 years in the future, to know about our time?
Oh, yeah. The people who are seeing this in the future, I mean, they would look at us and laugh, I think, because we have all these fears about sitting in an enclosed space and unable to, reach a particular place for 7 days or 8 days. I think they would laugh about the fact that we didn't have the nerves to, take that or move, take that as they would adventure out with it. Um, and I think they also would be intrigued at the fact that how much more things have changed, right? In those 100 or 200 years, because um, here we have progressed from diesel and petrol to just battery operated uh, vehicles. And from here, if we move on to something more faster that could cover that distance, I think they would find us pretty ancient, old, as people say, you're a very old, or the old stuff. Most of them, I like now when we speak to our children, when we talk about radios, they can't fathom any of those things. So for them, they think that we are very primitive in our talks. So I'm sure that's going to happen if someone looks at it 200 years down the line, for sure.
But on the second hand, you have people like getting like vinyl records again, and cassette tapes and Polaroids. It's like uh, people also kind of like the old stuff too after a while. It's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's interesting. I think it might come back. I have no idea. Yes, some things have come back for sure, but I think I mean to travel that much of distance in space, if it's shortened, I'm sure people would not want to go take 7 days to go to space if they can do it in, like, say, 10 hours or 15 hours. So I'm sure they'll look at it and they'll say, oh, these people tried, but they were unsuccessful. They took 7 years. It was, we figured it out pretty fast with chat GPT, I guess. Yeah.
That's true. Well, Kerryanne, thank you so much. Unless you had some questions for me or something else, I was going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Oh, no, Nathan. I think you answered all our questions when we were there. I mean, my understanding of so much of that spaceship and what happens in the spaceship was so little, I guess. Because I didn't take so much of an interest to understand what was the science behind most of those things. And my husband always used to pull us to say, oh, come on, let's see series, but I used to say none of it is really true. So why would I want to watch something that doesn't, that is all cooked up? And I don't want to, I never wanted to understand or read a lot more about that. But yeah, but I think our trip to Houston was pretty interesting. I think I've taken a lot more from what I have really walked around and seen, and also understood a lot more. So thank you very much for that. You've done a great job.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna go slice up some ginger and put it in honey and
Yes, you do need to do that. I think that will really work, because it helped us. It always helps us, but have it often, at least 4 to 5 times. As often as if you're at home, you can slice a few extra and keep for the next round, but at least have 3 or 4 every couple of hours. So then it'll help you
I'll do
clear
that.
your sore throat.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Kerryanne, and I look forward to staying in touch. It was such a pleasure to
Yes.
get to meet y'all.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we will definitely keep in touch, and don't forget to come and visit us in San Diego.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Say hi to Sonia.
I'll do that too. You have a
Yeah.
good evening.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.